What's going on, guys? This is the one and only Travel Time with Paul. Make sure you like and subscribe, share this video. Now, I know I promised you guys some content like 3 or 4 days ago, but I've been very busy. That's what happens when you're running a small trucking company and you got a couple of more other small businesses that you have to tend to. You never really have time to upload any content, but I promise you, I'll try to stay a little bit more consistent so the channel won't go cold. And also, I just bought my plane ticket and I got my Airbnb booked for the next country that I'll be traveling to. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be bringing you guys grade A, A1 content from that next country that I'll be going to. But right now, we just gonna stick with story time. And this story right here is a little bit different from my typical content that I usually talk about, which is guys don't break your heart to Pattaya. Well, this one right here is a story out of the DR. So it's gonna be my first Latin story that I was able to talk about on the channel. And it's a friend that I just so happened to know that was with the young lady that we'll be talking about in this video. Now, before I get into the topic of the video, I want to give a mini monologue. Now, you got guys in Pattaya, they say I'm making a lot of these videos because I hear my heart broke. Like one guy, somebody asked this YouTuber, is what Paul's saying is true about the women in Thailand, where Pattaya to be exact? Are they really finessing the men over there and getting over on them? And instead of this guy just answering the question like they all do, he had to just go to deflecting. Well, you know, Paul, he was a sim. He had his heart broke. What they got to do with the damn price of tea in China? Answer the damn question. Is what I'm saying facts or is it fiction? But you ain't gonna answer that though. But then I got a lot of guys hitting me up that's actually over there right now, or that's been there not too long ago. They actually saying what I'm saying. They agree with a lot of what I've been saying all this time, and they actually telling me it's worse than what I've been saying it was, and it's worse than what they thought. So, but I digress. We're gonna get into the topic of the video. Now, the topic of this video is he brought it back from the DR, and then this happened. Now, it was the year 2011. I had a friend of mine named Kevin. We both were working at a manufacturer where they produce central air conditioning or whatever. You know, they build air conditioned central air units for homes or whatnot. This was in 2011, and we would work 70 hours a week, 5-6 months out of the year or whatever. But whenever Kevin got his vacation and his time off, he would always go visit another country. He would go to Panama, Aruba, Brazil, Nicaragua, and all these other places. But this one place, which is known as the Dominican Republic, it stole his heart. He never been there before. It was his very first time going. Now, this was before we had Tinder, Bumble, and all these different dating sites. I want to say they probably had Dominican Cupid back then. I'm not for sure. But he didn't meet this woman off a dating site. This was 2011. He met her in person in Sosua, because Sosua is one of the places where the women can speak a little English from what I've been heard, because it's a large tourist area. So he didn't go to like any other parts of the DR because he didn't know how to speak Spanish. He met her in Sosua, and this before the spot of Sosua got blew up and got real popular like how it is now on YouTube. You wasn't hearing a lot of people talking about Sosua on YouTube during this time. It was like a low-key thing. A lot of guys was just going over there taking care of their business, what y'all would call weekend warriors today, and then they would come back to the States. But my friend Kevin didn't do that. He went straight over there to the DR and caught the first thing smoking, fell in love with her or whatever. I don't know what she did to this guy, but she had him gone. I mean, this man was willing to kill his mother to take a smell of that Dominican Republic pussy. But let me get into the story. So he goes to the DR. Then it's time for us to go back to work or whatever after our little time that we was laid off. He shows me a picture of this beautiful, light-skinned Dominican chick with a grayish, she had like hazelnut eyes or whatever. Every time the sun hit them, it looked like milky gold. I mean, this woman was gorgeous. Didn't have hardly no tattoos or anything. I didn't even see a red flag with her. I was thinking like, damn, he don't inspire me to want to go to the DR now. And let's just say I ended up visiting the DR 2 years after him and this young lady met. But that's a topic for another video. So we go back to work. He shows me a picture of her. I'm like, oh man, she's nice. Well, that's when he hits me with it. We working on her visa and the paperwork right now. She was coming back to the United States to be with me. I'm gonna marry her. And I'm like, marry her. Now we both 25 at the time. I'm like, but you barely even know this lady. How many times did you guys meet? He said once, but the whole time he was in the DR, he spent most of the time with her, and he got to meet her family and everything. And he was also sending money back to her. Now, in 2023, they call guys like that Western Union poppies. Well, I call them Western Union cowboys, and that's what he was. Because he wasn't just sending no little money back to her. And this is before the so-called price of peace leave went up in the DR. I think during this time, when my friend Kevin went over there, you can pay a woman $30 US to stay the whole night with you. But I heard it was way more expensive than that now. So yeah, he said he was working on it. He was in the process of helping her get to the States or whatever. Because I think to get a woman from the Dominican isn't as hard as it would be to get a woman from the Philippines or Thailand or anywhere else or whatever. So, because I've been noticing lately, there's been a large influx of Dominican women migrating to the United States, and I'm wondering how are they getting here. But yeah, so months go by. He helped her get her visa, and she ended up entering the United States. And after a couple of weeks of being here, he helped her get a job out there where we was working in. Then I got to meet her in person. My God, oh my God, this woman was drop dead gorgeous in person. Pictures didn't do her any justice. Let's just say she made Halle Berry look like Halle Scary. She made Mariah Carey look like Mariah Scary. She made Jay-Z. She made Beyonce look like Jay-Z. This woman was fine, y'all. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh, he ain't slick. He helping her get a job so he can watch her every move, because he thinking if she just at the house and he off at work or something, she'll be creeping around or sneaking off on him or whatever. That's why he's helping her get a job, because I didn't understand. We made decent money at this plant, and it was a unionized job. Why the hell why both of them need to be working? But then I realized as time went on, when everywhere she couldn't go nowhere in the manufactory without him being a shadow to her. She couldn't even sneeze. She couldn't even go to the lady restroom without him standing outside the door like he was her bodyguard. But I digress. So he helped her get a job at the place or whatever, and she ended up working in a different department because the manufacturer was pretty big. And we also went to lunch at different times. She went to lunch at another time. He went to lunch at an hour before she did. But this man was so hooked on this damn woman. Whenever she would go to lunch, he would sneak off the plant floor and go sit in the break room with her because he didn't want nobody else talking to her. He was being overprotective of her. He was very insecure. So months went by. Remember, this 2011, 2012 rolling around. That's when I started seeing a little division between the two. But before that, I had asked them after 2 months of her working at the plant, man, you gonna end up running that woman off, man. It's like if she sneezes, you standing right there ready to give her a paper towel, like let that lady breathe. With his Memphis accent, man, I got this, man. Don't worry about me. You heard me? I got this damn fool. Why don't you worry about what you got going? Why don't you worry about your woman not putting you on child support? Man, we winning over here. Man, her about to get some land in Jackson, Tennessee, and we gonna raise a whole family together. Man, you heard me? So I'm thinking like, okay, bro. Hey, well, handle your business, but no matter what country the woman from, she can be from Jupiter. The way you acting, you gonna eventually run her off and she gonna jump in somebody else's arms. Well, it ended up happening a whole lot sooner than I thought. So one day, I hear there was a lot of commotion going on in the break room, and I'm like, what's going on? They said Kevin in there about to fight another dude. There was a guy that just moved from Nashville, Tennessee. Some light-skinned dude. The Dominican woman ended up feeling him or whatever, and the guy was a smooth talker. And he spoke a little Spanish also or whatever. So he was sneaking behind Kevin back at the workhouse talking to this guy. And Kevin had no idea, because that's how smooth this other guy from Nashville was. Him and her been talking for a few weeks. Where she ended up feeling him. So when Kevin went into the break room, he seen her sitting at the lunch table with this guy from Nashville. Oh man, he had a fit. He confronted the guy, but the guy was a little bit bigger than him. So Kevin wasn't no damn fool. He wasn't gonna swing on the guy and get his ass beat right in front of his woman. So all they did was they did a lot of woofing. Then after woofing, when I got to the break room, they was woofing for a few minutes after I got there. That's when Kevin looked down to the Dominican woman, was like, let's go. Because what he was trying to do is get her, take her home, and they was gonna leave work early. She said in her broken English with her Spanish accent, no, I'm not going nowhere with you. I stay here. Me need money. I was like, damn, I didn't see this coming, and I didn't expect it to turn out like this. So Kevin was a little embarrassed because his ego was shot down to the floor. It had a VIP ticket next to the graveyard of Tupac. His ego did. So he didn't know how to really react to the situation. So he started crying in front of everybody like a little bitch. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh man, nah, man, my man's going out like this. He kept begging her, come on, baby, let's go, man, let's go home. That's when somebody called security. They came in there 5 deep. Now, at this place we was working at, security didn't have a weapon. The only thing they had is flashlight and some mace. So they went in there and they told Kevin, hey man, they want you off the property. You got to go. Now, they wasn't going to fire, because remember, this is a union job, so we all had union reps. They just wanted him gone for the day or whatever, because he was causing a scene and he was starting up a lot of commotion. Man, Kevin was so gone behind his Dominican woman pussy, she must have had a vagina filled with gold and platinum and silver from the 18th century, the way this guy was acting. So he was like, nah, he ain't going no damn where. That's when he got crunk with the security. And why the hell did he do it? Security put their hand on Kevin's shoulders to try to get him out of the break room. Kevin swung at one of the security. Security ducked and mopped Kevin's ass, waxed his ass on the break room floor. Then that's when they took him to the office or whatever. At this point, they was gonna fire him and let him go. Kevin wasn't having it. He was still acting the fool. And he kept trying to get back to the break room because he really was head over heels behind this Dominican woman. So they took him to the security office or whatever. Nope. They couldn't calm him down. They couldn't even control him. So Kevin started swinging wild or whatever. So they ended up macing him. He really started swinging wild until the mace got to him. He fell on the ground hollering and crying. Then that's when they had to call the police and they had him sent to jail. Now, they ended up letting Kevin go, but the Dominican lady kept the job or whatever. What happened was, this is when I found out about the law. If there's ever a case of like domestic violence or anything towards a woman that you bring over here to the USA, they could just say they don't feel safe with you or you hurt them or anything, and they automatically can get citizenship. I didn't know that up until this time. That's a law they made in the 90s when this white guy killed his Filipino wife or whatever, his Filipino girl, fiance. That's when they put that on the books or whatever. So let's just say she wasn't allowed around Kevin anymore. He went through all the paperwork, paid all his money to help this woman get her visa, and she ended up in somebody else's hands. Every day I used to look at her, I spoke to her, but every day on lunch, she was sitting at the table with this new guy from Nashville, and he ended up marrying her. But I want to say right before we got laid off in 2012, the guy from Nashville, he ended up, I don't know if they got married, but he ended up engaging to her. She became his fiance. And let's just say Kevin ended up losing his damn mind. He ended up homeless. The last time I saw him was in 2014. He was on methamphetamines or whatever and drinking a lot. Because you got to remember, he was one of them guys, and this was before Passport Bros, this was before Red Pill, MGTOW, and all these channels. This was before Save Yourself, Black Man, all that shit got popping on YouTube. He was one of the first guys that I remember that used to say, man, I ain't never dating an American woman. You need to go overseas and get you a woman from over there. He was saying this way back then. You had a lot of guys saying this back then, but it just wasn't on the internet like it is now. But for that to happen to him, he just lost all hope. So he ended up just going off the deep end. And this woman moved on, got her citizenship, and ended up being with another guy. Now, to tell you guys the backstory of this situation, not saying any foreign woman you bring over here would do what happened to Kevin, or just up and leave you out of the blue. Kevin met this woman on her job. She was a bar girl down in the DR. What the hell did he expect? Like the old saying say, you cannot turn a whore into a housewife. And that's what Kevin was trying to do. And the guy from Nashville, I haven't seen him in years, but I'm not saying he probably gonna have some issues with her too. Because from what I've heard, since the internet done got popular and I showed guys her picture, I still have her picture. She was catching a lot of bodies down there in the DR. Hell, she's even been deported before. She was living in Connecticut one time. I want to say in 03 and 04, and she got deported back to the DR. But somehow she had enough game to get inside of Kevin's head and manipulate him and to bring her back to the States. Now I'm surprised she didn't just make her way back up to Connecticut and be with whoever she knew up there. Or I'm just gonna assume she didn't have any family up there. But she was a well-known whore down in the DR. But that's what's going on today, guys. You got a new breed of guys that just getting a passport and they going over to these other countries and they doing exactly what Kevin is doing. The only thing different, they got enough sense not to bring them back to the States. But there's only one problem. You can't always live over there in Thailand, the Philippines, or the DR or Colombia and see what she's doing. Yeah, you can stay over there 3 to 6 months out of a year, maybe, and you be with her, but what's gonna happen when you get back on that plane? She gonna be with the next foreigner, milking him, manipulating him, and suckering him out of all his money. There was a situation, and I know this don't have anything to do with the topic of the video, but this happened in Thailand. Right before I left Thailand, I remember being at a bar in Sorbukal. There was this American expat dude. He was a cool white boy. He was sitting with this beautiful Thai woman or whatever. They had been together the whole time he was in the country. And he was getting ready to leave. He was spending his time with her. His flight was going to leave around 7 or 8 o'clock that night or whatever. So he needed to be headed towards Bangkok to the airport to leave. I watched him and his lady cry with each other. And the friends he met in Thailand, they was standing with him and the lady. She cried and said how much she was going to miss him or whatnot. How much she loved him and everything. And he was crying. The minute that man got in that damn boat to take that ride to the Bangkok airport, his flight wasn't even in the air yet. Y'all know what this lady was doing? Sitting with the next foreigner, kissing him in the mouth. He buy her drinks out the drinks, and then she left and went home with him and then got digged down by him before this guy can even get on the damn plane. So I make these videos because I'm just trying to warn you guys, be careful. But then you'll have guys be trying to deflect. Oh, he only doing it because he had his heart broke. But it's what I'm saying, facts or fiction. Everything I'm saying can be proven. Now, make sure when you guys go to these places, if you're going to go to a place like Seoul, certain parts of Medellin, Angeles City, Philippines, Pattaya, Thailand, do not take your horse to these places. Take your dick only. Have some fun. Treat it like Six Flags or Walt Disney World and get the hell up out of there. Don't go to these places looking for a wife or a girlfriend. Don't go find a woman out of a massage parlor and put her on the salary and talking about you gonna wife her up one day. That's a real live sucker. We laugh at guys like that where I'm from. That's a real simp. You can't be a simp but try to call somebody else a simp when you're a well-known simp. But I digress. Make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, I'm out. And let me I want y'all feedback on how y'all like this video, because usually I record my videos of me talking, but I did this a little different because it's 1 a.m. Central Time where I'm at right now. It's dark, so that's why I did the video this way. Give me your feedback down in the comment section and let me know what you think. And until next time, I'm out. One. Oh, and P.S. Make sure you hit that Cash App. That's $Cash King 2030. $Cash King 2030. And until next time, I'm out.